Boom! And we are here. I'd like to say hello to my panel. Hello to the chat of John DeMarco, Farf was on the panel, Stephen was on the panel, Bush McFadden, and anyone else here who was watching anywhere on the planet or in universes known and yet unknown. And that weird alleyway that's behind Tesco's. For some reason, it always smells of coleslaw. Nobody knows why. I'd like to thank my panel of Ryan, Moira Kitty, Bubba, Stephen, Farv, and our favourite calculator, Dalek. We've got another guest or two showing up in a bit, so yeah, let's get this on road. Okay, who's here is a big fan of horror movies?
Okay, right.
I am, but not the way most people are.
You took me by surprise going live when you did.
I went live at the time I was scheduled to. Okay, so is anyone here a fan of Japanese horror movies?
I'm out. Some of them.
Well, I've heard of a good few, courtesy of Wakasashi's Tea House. They're mainly psychological based, from what
yes and no. It depends on.
Yeah, I find them more frightening than the American ones.
Were you about to say real ones?
I thought that too.
Yes, I was.
Here's the thing: when we get to me, my take on horror is way different than most people, so that's going to be an odd one for me to approach.
Let's go to Farv.
Okay. So when I was 5 years old, I saw American Werewolf in London, John Carpenter's version of The Thing, and most of the Friday the 13th series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of horror movies. I just find them entertaining.
Okay.
I've never found any of it actually scary.
Yeah, I'm probably close to you, Farv.
I don't either. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't either. Like, honestly, with a lot of horror movies, for myself, I tend to ruin them with logic. Me and Farv and a friend of ours, the producer of my show, known as The Voice Inside My Head, we're watching Sleepy Hollow. Farv, how many times did we end up laughing at that movie?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, that's not even really a horror movie, but yeah,
well,
there was a lot of commentary going on.
Well, it's a spooky film.
Right.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
I was too busy looking at other things, so yeah.
Yeah.
When I think of the origin of horror shows, I always think of the bedtime story, the spooky bedtime story, or the campfire stories, right? They're for children, okay? More than animation is for children. Horror stories are for little children, okay? And that's what I find really bizarre about the whole horror film genre.
Well, and it's also important to remember that, like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Bram Stoker's Dracula, what we consider the roots of horror now, those were actually, if you compare them to like the Grimm's fairy tales and Aesop's fables and stuff, they're actually relatively cheery and inspirational by comparison. So what we consider horror now, those were actually their epic stories at that time.
Yeah, well,
so
Sherlock was written just after, I believe, the Boer War. So a lot of these things people are like, oh my god, this is scary, were actually written from people who had seen hell. So
in the Boer Wars.
Well, Sherlock, I'm saying like Dracula was. The writer of Dracula had time period.
Well, kind of like the creator of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Don't you mean Godzilla?
Well, it was Gojira at the time. But
yeah, Ryan, being the youngest on the panel, what was it like for you growing up 10 seconds ago?
Jesus Christ.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and first of all, thank you, Potato, for having me
always,
on
man.
Again. But for me, I really try to keep myself away from horror. I don't have the strongest of chests.
Yeah.
That's why jump scares are not really my thing. But I first got into horror, surprisingly enough, through the movie Alien.
Yes,
that's a good one. That's a good
chest burster and all that tension within this spaceship that was practically all of their coffins. Only one person escaped from that, barely. But that's how I was introduced to horror. And for me,
Okay.
that blood, guts, and gore, that's why I like Aliens versus Predator so much, especially the second one, which I know people don't like because of that. It blended the action with the sheer horror of that Predalien, especially the hospital scene. That
Yes.
was just
For
disgusting.
me, when I used to be a huge fan of Alien versus Predator movies, but they really did not cross into the original side of horror. They were more Star Trek, Space Troopers-esque movies. Even Aliens weren't horror for me.
No, it's more of
Like-
an action film.
It was more of an action thriller with like dismemberment and things like that. Yeah. Dalek, what about you, man?
Did he leave again?
Oh, what's that? John DeMarco says that he read the original novel for Frankenstein one time. It comes off more like a 19th century sci-fi.
Yeah. Honestly,
It does.
if you watch the Hammer Frankenstein, it's a lot more like that, even in that one.
Yeah. But Dalek, buddy, you were going to say something?
Like what? Like sorry,
Any-
I was.
Like,
Are you
what's your
okay?
take on horror? Dalek, what's your take on horror?
I'm not I've never been the biggest fan of horror movies, but I suppose I suppose some aspects of them can be fascinating, I guess.
It can. I mean, like, one of the horror movies that I watched recently was Sleepy Hollow, which it went
Yeah.
from. Yeah, this is the TV show Sleepy Hollow. This
TV
is
show?
what. Yeah, there's a TV show where Ichabod Crane comes into the present.
Why
wow,
do they
where did I
always
find
do
that?
stupid shit like that?
Yeah, also,
Oh, that's cute.
that's fucking adorable.
I love it. Where do I find the show at?
I will research it for you, and I will let you know a few minutes after stream. How does that sound?
Sounds marvelous.
No worries. So Bush says he always felt horror genre had a supernatural aspect to it, as opposed to slasher and suspense movies. That is true because a lot of the horror deals with the one thing that everyone is frightened of: death. Yeah. Hey, Sci-Fi Nation. Because that's the one thing. You can overcome a slasher by killing them. You can overcome suspense by living out the movie. Right? But death, the ghosts, demons, gods, you cannot overcome these things because you can never get away from them in the end. And it is fear because you are looking at the one thing, no matter if you're, as they used to say back in the past, if you're a peasant, if you're a knight, if you're a king, it does not matter. You're all going to end up in the one place in a box 6 feet in the ground. So in a horror movie, when you're looking at a ghost, you're also looking at the bastardization of your best friend, your father, your lover, your child, whoever, looking at you back in your face, which also gives you a fear because at the same time we're designed to fear things that we can't see. Like, it's why the fear of the dark exists.
Definitely. 100%. You put it quite well, Potato. For
Thank
me,
you.
in regards to ghosts, I always feel like that they are vengeful spirits who have not been given the justice they deserve, especially with unsolved murders and things. That's why places can be haunted.
That is a huge thing in Japanese horror movies. That's what The Grudge is, because a lot of Oni tend to be people who were wronged in life turned into ex-spirit who
Right.
come
That's
for
what
vengeance.
The Crow is about as well.
Yes, that is an Oni.
You sure you're not talking about an Onryo? An Oni's a demon.
Yeah, like a vengeful person becomes a demon when they die.
Well, the Grudge was a ghost, not a demon.
Yeah, but it was taken from an Oni. Yeah, I'm just saying that's what the inspiration was. But Steven, what about you, man?
Well, I've been actually harping on, and Antiderivative Jill just did a stream on it about probably, in my opinion, and don't beat me up, but
I will.
one of the worst science fiction movies and probably one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen in my life, a movie called Event Horizon.
Oh.
You say that was one of the worst movies you've ever seen in your life? Oh, thank God, let's be friends!
I walked out of it. I walked out of it in the theater. I saw it when it first came out. I didn't see it until years ago later. And then I just recently watched it again because, it's the horror season. And
Yes.
I wanted to be clear about my opinion on it because I'm an analytical person who does not like to be just passionate about these things. I like to be well informed. And
Yes.
after rewatching the entire thing, I still hold true to the idea that it's in my top 5 worst movies ever made.
Really?
Wow.
It's...
I've only ever heard
It's a
good things
peculiar
about that
estimation, but I mean, I don't care if other people like or dislike it.
film. Me personally, ladies and gentlemen, I've only heard good things about Event Horizon. I think it was released in 1997, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah.
it'll be a good chance for Stephen to explain to me what was wrong with that film, because it is quite a mind twister from what I've seen of it. And-
The set production is right on point. The art direction is all on point. The cinematography, the script,
Good actors in
And-
it too.
and the pacing
Yeah.
are all problematic. I thought I was going to see something that was going to be on the same level as most of the animes that I had seen up to that date. I was expecting something that was going to explore extra dimensional spaces, that was going to talk about where this evil spirit came from and what it was as a manifestation, but it didn't do any of that. It
No.
started off as a military operation and in 5 minutes became a bunch of teenagers stuck in a castle.
Fun fact, it's actually Sam Neill's second movie that deals with a doorway to hell.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
He
His
did
other
In
one
Mouth
was
of
actually...
Madness, didn't he?
I forget its
The
name.
first one
Farview
was
showed it-
Jurassic Park, right?
No. Farview showed us...
What?
No, that was his kinky playground. Farv, you showed us the other one where it was to deal with he was a book writer.
Yeah,
I know
it's in the Mouth of Madness.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
But if you look
Which I haven't
at it's actually quite good. It's 1,000 times better than
It plays off the effect of Lovecraft on people.
Yeah, and it's happening in a real space. So here's the thing: I absolutely adore good science fiction. Okay.
Yes.
I went to go see a science fiction movie, and there was no science in my science fiction movie. It was an empty shell of a science fiction movie. It was barely a B-level horror movie. It was mostly a gut and blood fest about people that suddenly forgot all of their training, forgot they were on a rescue mission, forgot that there was even an Earth to call back to. They never talk about communications being failed. They never contact an outside world.
Yeah.
We are only
Actually, the
witness-
pilot did mention that their comms got fried when the Event Horizon power surged their ship.
Okay. Still, the plot point that this is okay. The Event Horizon is an experimental, extra-dimensional, faster-than-light
Yes.
engine, right? And this thing must have cost the Earth trillions of dollars, right? Trillions of dollars.
That's the film. Jill
They
was
never
talking
tested
about.
the engine.
Yes.
They never. The U.S. government or whatever government was in power of
Hey,
the Earth at the time.
Die by the Sword. Good to see you.
Dave Travels
welcome.
in Time is here too.
Oh,
They
hey, Dave Travels in Time. Good to see you as well.
Hello.
You were saying, Stephen. Go on.
It never explores anything outside the world, outside of the cockpit of the ship and this handful of characters. They all show up to the job unrested, torn from their vacations, currently going through, every single one of the characters is currently going through a psychological trauma. This is not a rescue team. It's quite literally a bunch of morons, like it was a trap, like somebody sent them up there to die on purpose.
Yeah, and
like,
frankly,
that's how
Sam,
awkward the plot is.
and frankly, Sam Neill's acting was like a first year level drama student of I'm acting.
We just never understand. Does the scientist have alternate knowledge? Did he want the engine to fail? Does he want the engine to succeed? We don't really get a real sense. Nothing really boils to the surface in the show.
Yeah.
And most
Moira,
of the jump scares are either musical or accidental. It's like, you gotta be freaking
I
kidding me. What the
hate
hell is
that.
this?
I hate when you get the musical cues like, oh, there's something coming. Moira, what about you?
What, my opinion on Event Horizon or horror?
Horror
movies?
in
No, I
general.
think it was just horror.
Okay, thank God. Okay, I like the classic ones. I like black and white ones better. They you don't really get a lot of jump scares. They put some atmosphere. They put some effort into that shit.
Yeah.
And it's not so nasty and gross. You have to worry about covering your kids' eyes or like.
I don't
You
have
know.
any kids, and I would probably be terrible about that in your opinion because I grew up with that stuff.
I did too, and I wish I hadn't seen some of the things I've seen.
I honestly don't. That's where we're different. I don't really care.
You mean stuff like this?
No, that series is just stupid.
That's gross. That there is just gross. Oof.
What? You wanted to read the boss play, but you got very good look at it.
Ugh.
See, I have no compunctions with gore, but I literally had to scoop somebody's brains off a sidewalk at one point in my life.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Or
Well, doses
was that-
of reality, ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
actually
can
one-
numb you to things.
That's
Yeah.
that's actually one horror film I have actually seen. Final Fantasy. I mean, sorry.
Oh,
Final
I've seen the
Destination.
entire run of those movies. They are so stupid. They are fun.
I know.
I've
I know.
honestly
They're-
always
they're
found them so
dumb,
stupid that
know.
I can't stand to look at them.
Yeah. Boosh says Final Destination is gore porn.
Basically,
Especially, yeah,
Thank you,
especially
Sword.
the fourth one.
It's a snuff
Yeah.
film with really stupid fucking payoffs. There's no
Well.
point to it.
I don't think that's quite the definition, but I'll roll with it.
Yeah, we'll all roll with it.
What
But,
I
you
come
didn't, but you didn't let Moira even finish.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're terrible about that. But
Sorry.
yeah, I don't know. Even as a kid, I always believed that some things are possible. And some of the movies that I've seen, I wish I hadn't, because like part of it kind of, I don't know, it can kind of mess with your anxiety. Kind of makes you wonder, is it possible? And that's the worst part of it. When I see things that are like horror films that are highly unlikely, it's not so bad. Like watching zombie stuff, it's gross,
May
but
I
it's
step in
physically
because I'm
impossible
confused?
to happen.
Okay.
Because there has to be oxygen and blood flow to the muscles for it to move in the first place. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
physically impossible, so it makes it safer to watch. But the stuff that might maybe be, oh Lord, I can't watch that shit.
Moira, I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't understand the anxiety thing. That's legitimate. I don't.
Well, okay. Well, some people who have anxiety disorder, you ever had someone who wanted to mess with you and they want to show you a really nasty picture or something? You're like, oh. Sometimes your anxiety likes to show you stuff that freak you out, or it's called intrusive thoughts. And it likes to show you things that are gross, something to freak you out. If your brain's like, oh, you're not doing anything right now, how about this? You're like, oh, jeez.
Hey, Farv.
Yo.
Our mutual friend has that.
Oh, really? Jesus.
Yeah, you know the little elf friend, essentially.
Yeah.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Yeah.
He's trying not to say names in this case.
I know, I was just being funny though. Like,
Yeah, no, but no. She knows who she is, but it's okay. But she has that, and that's why she gets nervous and things like that, and don't watch certain things with us.
Yeah. And that's
Fear
why
is a very powerful
It
emotion,
is.
ladies and gentlemen. Especially when people have very active imaginations, they can picture terrible things, and
Yep.
And if you're in a very isolated state with nothing really to stimulate you, that fear and that anxiety can heighten more and more and more.
Yeah.
And it's spreading across the world. In
Maybe
my
it's because of the kind
What
of
he
shit
said.
I've done and the kind of life I've lived, and the fact
Yeah,
that I just
but-
use my imagination to kind of feed off of the right. I don't
Yeah,
know.
in essence, Firefly. I mean, you've literally been through hell, and we're glad that you made it out the other side, and you got home. But it's like compared to the rest of us, you've lived 1,000 times worse. If you understand that, you've seen and smelt and heard and felt real horror shit.
can numb you to
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
essentially fiction, folks.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, like since when I worked in the graveyard, now like blood and gore doesn't bother me, or
Oh,
skeletons
did
or
you see
things
Blood
like
and
that.
Gore digging holes in the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of come up against fossilized like intestines and brains and eyes.
Well,
and
and
things
when
like
you
that.
grow up, your mom. When you grow up and your mom is a hospice nurse, ain't nothing sacred.
Oh Lord,
Yeah,
no.
that's
Yeah.
Good point there. Oof.
I mean,
Yeah,
just given
and
some
there-
of the shit we went through mutually, my mom's the same way. There's not many things that scare my mother.
Yeah, but going off of what Ryan was saying, a lot of directors and things like that use musical cues, use visual cues, use space cues, for different parts.
It's
Of
the
movies.
whole jump scare thing.
It is. It's like
Yeah, I don't need that.
like we've watched it so much, and we've played so many games. Like, I'm a big fan of Destiny, right? There's a certain thing where you can hear in one of the DLCs, you can hear monsters running around, right? But you can't see them, but you can hear them before you actually get there. When you get downstairs, it's like go down the stairs, and I have that one elf friend I was talking, and they said, okay, when we get to this point, let me take point in the game, because I will trigger all the jump scares, because she don't like jump scares. Right? And I'm like, let me trigger him, because the thing is, you can literally say, there's a jump scare coming. It's the same way within a movie. There's an empty room, there's a door over to the left, but it's the only door, and the person's going along, and you're like, someone's gonna come through that door, someone's gonna come through that door, boom, someone came through that door.
I mean,
If you
I
look at
understand.
it-
I've actively, with other people, I've actively warned people before, like having them watch Carpenter's version of The Thing.
Yeah, that's on the list for next movie night, isn't it, Farv?
Yes, because your friend wants you to watch it.
Yay, I'm busy that night.
Was.
No, but it's like body gore doesn't bother me. A lot of horror movies don't bother me. If anything, this is going to sound really strange. Horror movies dealing with the afterlife kind of seem nice to me.
Oh,
Yeah,
do tell.
I'm kind of indifferent to it, I guess.
Yeah, okay, so basically, it's take the House on the Haunted Hill, for example. There's a sleep experiment where this girl, she's a reincarnation, she goes back, but she's the reincarnated soul of all these spirits' mother. Right?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the old Vincent Price one.
No, it's the one with Liam Neeson.
Never watched it.
It's but so she goes in, but now everyone dies. One guy gets his head knocked off at different stages, but there's ghosts absolutely everywhere, and there's this one big ghost. After she beats the big ghost, she ends up going to heaven, and you see all the ghosts being free and flying up and everyone like that, and I'm just looking and I'm like, that's nice, because even though the darkness was defeated there, because going through some of the shit, I've always run with the mentality that no matter how long you are in darkness for, there's always a sunrise. There's always a tomorrow. Every night has its end. So even in movies, I still have this belief, right? So at the end of movies, the nighttime has come to an end. The day will rise. The souls go to heaven. They are now at peace. Meanwhile, the darkness is in hell. Does that sound stupid to anyone?
Not
No,
to me.
it doesn't sound stupid to me. When it comes to afterlife ghost type story things, I've just always been kind of indifferent to it. I mean, if I were to actually see a ghost, I guess to some point it would relieve me because it would kind of put the whole question of the afterlife in some form or another. But beyond that, I don't know.
What I personally think we need in horror, because as with all forms of popular entertainment, we're bombarded with it. So it kind of numbs us to typical things. But
Yes.
I think what the horror genre needs is something fresh, something
New.
that has not been tried before. Something
Well,
mind-bending, in my
or
view.
has been tried. Like, there's a lot of the episodes of Black Mirror that I found horrifying
Oh.
because
But-
it got into something we're actually currently scared of, and that is the takeover of technology or the massive interference of our lives by technology.
Oh.
Yeah,
That kind of
like
thing.
a psychological vampire. They can call it Dracula Inception.
Yeah, we could call it, whatever AI nonsense is going on, but the idea of grounding the side.
See, Revan, you're
of
not the only one that
the-
drops
the
a joke and
horror.
it falls flat.
Wait, hold on. My jokes don't fall flat at any time. Fire, when did this happen?
Hey, don't look at me, man. My humor's weird.
Yeah. So, but question to Stephen and Ryan. How, we've got... Oh, I would like to welcome to the panel for the first time, Bruce London. Hey, Bruce. Good to see you, man.
Hey,
Hey.
What
How's
am I-
everybody doing?
That's somebody's
We're
mini
doing good.
table.
Yeah, no, Bruce is actually, a pair of hands.
Yeah, this is a familiar sight to me. My brother watches a lot of those kind of videos when he's working
But,
on these miniatures.
Bruce, we'll just ask you, what's your take on horror and things like that?
What
general.
type of wait? What was the question? What's my take on horror
Yeah.
for the context? What do you
Movies.
what
Like,
type of
what?
answer you're looking
horror films that you admire, horror films you don't like. We're just
Yeah.
basically kicking the can around the backyard here.
When I was a kid, I didn't really like horror films because I was raised in an environment that made it really unfavorable for me to watch horror movies. Unfortunately for me, I that was just the upbringing I had. I mean, everybody's got that parent that they don't share the same things with, and that's I mean, Mom was telling me today about a person that's in media that got viciously beaten, and I'm like, good. And she's like, I would never wish that on anybody. I'm like, I'm sorry they weren't pushed into a ditch. Next question. And
Yeah.
Mom and Dad were like, what did we fail our son? Why did we fail the world by raising our son? What have we done? I'm like, guy's a pile of crap. He's a financial crook. His wife ruined part of California. What part of this? Where I throw the sympathy at between the shit and the syphilis?
Throw it in the sea.
Yeah,
That's the best place to throw it.
I don't care, And we kind of disagree now. And I watch horror movies not for the horror aspect, not for the I want to be scared, but I watch it for the practical effects because my father introduced me to model trains as a kid. Wholesome activity, wholesome hobby. If you've got the space for it and you have the means to get your kid into something like model trains, which is expensive as hell, I found out, it's great. But it led into D&D and wargaming and all that. And I really like the fantasy aspect of that goes along with the Tolkien-esque and the Michael Moorcock's and all that stuff. I love it. I wrap my head around it. But with horror, I have to really, with the slasher movies, I'll just hit those for example. I don't find myself enjoying those that much because they're boring. They're really boring. I have to find a good horror film which isn't based on like some kid that didn't get paddled by his mommy. And I'm looking at you, Jason. And I don't care about slasher flicks. I'm sorry about Michael, the Halloween guy, and Freddy Krueger.
Michael Myers.
Krueger was interesting when I was growing up, but I did not watch a lot of his stuff till later when I was in high school because that was like around Dream Warriors in Part 4.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, was the apex of the series until, like, the new Nightmare came out. And then that was, like, my favorite slasher film of all time because it actually had a good script. It had good characterization. The characters were allowed to relax and just basically play themselves in a what would we do if Freddy was real sort of thing. And I like that. But typically with slasher and horror movies, like the Scream movies, I didn't find a lot of joy in those. I weathered those when my friends and roommates were like, "We got to watch this movie. It's really badass." The girls are cute. That's about it. You know, I don't. Where's the motivation? Where's the? It didn't hit the cerebral parts. The cerebral parts got hit when I watched John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
The Thing is by far the best horror movie ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets into all the different forms of a horror as well. Because it does body horror.
Yeah.
It does deep psychological, like, mistrust of your fellow man.
Yeah.
So it gets into that whole level of horror.
Isolation.
Isolation. Mystery, like the total cosmic mystery level of it all. Like, this thing came from where again?
Yeah.
What does this
one
thing
of my
even look
favorites
like in its natural form? I mean, like, what is this?
Yeah. One of my favorite horror movies. Ooh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just saying, like, a horror movie, if it doesn't trigger something in the gray matter pile, it's not really a horror movie, but it's more like a movie where you get to act badly and earn a check. That's what I feel most horror movies are. And that's not only transferred to horror movies today, but it also is in comedies as well, because there's no acting in the comedy movies nowadays either.
Right.
So, you know, nowadays
there used to be, though.
Go ahead.
There used to be, though, didn't there, Bruce? I mean, back in the day.
Yeah. It all changed around 2004, 2005. A lot of these big companies came out and they said, we really want to get invested with some good CGI studios. We want to have this cutting edge of CGI. And then you have films like The Thing the prequel gets greenlit for release. And
the sad part is there's still some good stuff. It still does practical effects, but they're usually coming from smaller studios.
Yeah, one of the smaller studios released a movie a few years ago with Abigail Breslin called Haunted, where of course, spoilers, she was this girl who starts noticing, she's the only one who notices the same day is going over and over and over again, no matter what she says to her parents. Then she turns around and she discovers that she's dead, right? And she's actually a ghost. Her entire family are ghosts, and they're trapped in the same day. But she starts noticing her dad is acting weird. He's able to act like there's nothing wrong. Like, he's the one who's able to, instead of picking up water at this stage, he'll go and make dinner at that stage. She started noticing he doesn't act the same way every single day. And she realizes that she's been doing this since the 1980s. And that her dad... Hey, it's a kitty cat.
Yeah, Jet yelling at me.
Her dad is instead a demon. Right? Or a bad ghost. When she then interacts with a girl from present day 2015-esque. And she's looking and but the girl from 2015's, her dad is now taken over by the same entity who took over Abigail Breslin's father. And they have to try and communicate with each other, but the only way they can communicate is if Abigail Breslin takes over her body, but she can only do that while she sleeps.
If you could see me right now, I'm just scratching my head, because none of this make no fucking sense.
It's actually good. Right?
Just not well explained.
This ghost shit is too existential for me to fucking deal with.
I know. So she's there, and Abigail Breslin, she sees a note from the girl, says, play this. Right? The girl whose body she is takes over, leaves a message on an iPad, and they work together to basically kill the ghost by knocking the dad out while everyone else is asleep. So that way he can't take over anyone else. Right? And then at the end of the movie, the ghost is now out of both the dad's soul and the current dad's body. And heaven comes a-calling. Right? So the house breaks open. And all the ghosts that he's killed call him out and they kill him. When he's dead, they then get to go out to heaven. It's actually quite... Yeah. It's actually quite a good movie.
What movie is that called? Is that again? What's it called?
Haunted with Abigail Breslin.
Okay, Abigail Breslin. She's a little cutie. I'll have to remember that.
Have you seen her now?
No.
I have no input.
She's
get out.
Did she become a wine mom like everything else in Hollywood?
No. She became a fucking hottie.
What a shame.
Okay.
Think of the children. Oh wait, but I'm Tish. The other movie that I saw recently that's really good is the film studio. The guys that made The Thing, or that were going to do the practical effects for The Thing in 2011.
Is it the one with Leslie Henderson on the fucking fishing boat?
Yes.
I was going to mention that one.
Yeah. At first, it was going to be called Tardigrades, but it's actually called something Down. Harbinger Down. Harbinger Down. Yeah, that is a fantastic little movie. It's not inventive by any means, but for the hour and 30 minutes you're watching it, you're very well entertained.
I really like that movie.
But what about horror movies that everyone's like, oh, this seems good, and you watch it, feel like you've lost IQ points?
Oh, there's plenty of those. Why I quit watching most of them.
One of the ones that pissed me off, I forget its name. We lost Bubba.
Yep.
Bubba, come back.
He might have lost signal if he was in his vehicle.
Yeah,
I think he's in his vehicle. That's what all the beeping
is.
R2D2 and everything else.
Yes, it was. Yeah, we were just.
So one of the ones that really fucked with me was Miranda Cosgrove she attempted to be in a slasher horror movie. Okay, I say attempted.
I feel like a lot of actors attempt to do.
It failed to be a movie.
Oh,
right, Ryan, buddy. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to use you out of the panel for the logic, okay? I come to your house. You see me with a machete. I've just killed Favre. Sorry, Favre, you're a ghost now.
Good
right?
luck with that, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I've killed Favre, right? I've got a shotgun that has smoke coming out of it. I'm holding his head in my hand and a machete that has blood dripping off it. I bang on your door and say, at 9 o'clock tonight, I'm coming back. I'm going to murder you and every single person in your house. Bye, and I leave. What is your course of action?
I will always use the most unlikely motherfucker in these scenarios.
It's a fair point, though, Fav. I mean, hypotheticals are supposed to be like that. But there are only two responses. One is the most likely, which is get the hell out of there. Or two, which is much less likely, is to make a last stand and fight to the death. But I'm not the kind of person to do that, so I'd probably...
Oh, you're forgetting the third completely most retarded option, have a shower and go to bed.
Oh, Christ.
That's ridiculous.
That's what she fucking does!
Okay, you know what? You should actually look at Bush's comment.
Okay, one second.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
you're holding...
The gun...
Yes! Yes, he does it. He's holding the machete and the gun. He's holding.
How many hands do you have?
No, he's holding the head by the hair, right, in one hand, and is holding the hair wrapped around the machete handle. Knocks on the glass with it, and in the other hand has a fucking shotgun. Right, and yeah. And I'm just looking like, what?
What the fuck are you watching?
Yeah, some very bad
like
stuff.
Human
obviously.
version of General Grievous. It's got 4
Yeah.
arms.
And she fucking has a wash and goes, and she's like, oh no, there's someone in my house. He's going to kill me. I'm like, yeah, I fucking told you about this at 9 o'clock this morning, bitch. You deserve it. Hey, Janet from another planet. How are you, girlie?
Janet.
Hi. Happy Halloween. Well, almost.
Yeah, not
But I wear my costume.
Son na ihasara.
What?
I said happy Halloween in the Irish, you bunch of illiterate fucks.
Oh,
Irish is a language? I had no idea.
I can't.
Fuck you, British!
dang.
Wait a minute. He's fucking Welsh.
What's the difference? Oh, the only difference, he's British except he fucks sheep. That's the only difference.
Oh my goodness! I'm not
I was
potatoes.
born
We're
in
in the civilized part of Wales.
Not the
where we
roasted
speak English.
potatoes.
Oh, nah, Ryan only knows I'm taking the piss.
How about Donnie Darko? How about that?
Oh,
Has
Donnie
anybody-
Darko. Wait, Donnie Darko's a horror
Is
movie?
that even a horror
It's
film?
weird. It's kind of.
That's like calling Eraserhead a horror film.
Eraserhead is a horror film. It's deep psychological terror. It's like, what is going on? My brain is bleeding. What's going on in this movie?
Confusion tends to make me angrier than it does scare me.
Well, that's the difference. I get you. Like certain, that's why it's got to be done by an artist. And I think in the movie Eraserhead, it gets so disjointed, like aesthetically, that
Oh, Bubba said he lost connection because of a storm.
Oh, shitballs. Where did...
you know.
Hey,
Like
Bubba, you still
The
got
Shining,
the DMs.
The Shining
It's-
is like that. It's just layers and layers and layers of mounting.
True.
I don't know what's going on
Yeah.
here.
Again. The Shining's a horror movie?
It's
Yes.
more like a suspense film, but
Hold on.
kinda.
It's a good
I got-
suspense movie.
I'm gonna show you this fucking movie. I found images. I'm sorry. I gotta show you this. This movie fucks with my life. Oh no! Let me get changed into this little dress. Oh no! He's coming back to kill me. Oopsie.
This
Oh my
is an
goodness.
actual
really
fucking
potato.
movie.
We're gonna go back to this movie.
Why are we
Again?
going? Yeah, why are we back on this?
It ruins my life.
Yeah,
You're
so
letting
Misery
that
Loves
ruin your
Company.
life.
You're trying to terrorize us with it. What's going
Yes. But so Steven, after your point, I'm going to just go to Janet for a quick, and then we'll go back to the entire panel. Okay?
on? Host.
Yeah. So Steven, you were saying.
No, I just bring up Donnie Darko. It's I think it's a horror movie because it's an inescapable, terrifying situation that Donnie finds himself in. He's being visited by a ghost that hasn't been created in his reality yet. It's like there's all kinds of temporal distortion. He could have been killed by a jet engine falling on his freaking house. It's like, you know what I mean? He's got bullies that put knives to his throat in school. He might be brought up on charges by the police. He's in this horrifying situation that's attached to something beyond anybody's comprehension. You know, it's a horror movie in my opinion. That's my kind of horror movie. I like intellectual horror.
But
I
what
want to
about you?
like it more.
But Janice, what about you?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Hello.
I didn't know if you
discussing
were
horror
wanting to
movies
ask
in
me about
general.
the movie he was talking about, or about
No,
my
it's just your
favorite movie.
general consensus on horror films or horror.
Yeah,
genres.
what's your
Yeah.
faves? You know,
Well,
what
I
do you
don't
like?
think
What do you dislike?
I don't think slasher films, like like somebody running around with a chainsaw or stabbing virgins, is scary.
No.
I thought Jaws was my number one most scary movie, and American Werewolf in London was scary.
You actually thought that one was scary?
Different,
Okay.
yeah, different things scare me. More psychological thriller type movies is what
Okay.
scares me. Like
I
I'm
should have
trying to
mentioned
think of a
Jaws.
couple. Like the movie that Bruce and I did a review on. It's called Mr. Brooks. I don't know if you guys saw that, where Kevin Costner was a serial killer. It's called The Thumbprint Killer, and he stalked people and murdered them. And it was all psychological because
Okay.
he had a split personality. And that type of thing is more scary to me because that happens in real life. You could be sitting next to a guy that's going to pull out an axe and chop your head off.
Right.
Wait,
More
hold
than
on,
some
hold on.
guy is going to go to sleepaway camp and stab all the virgins and try
But
to find a
if-
virgin today.
If
You know what I mean?
if you're sitting next to a guy
Hey,
and you're
Ryan.
like, he can pull out an axe. So if you sit down next to a guy with a bloodied axe, I'm sorry, Janet, that's your own fault.
Hey, he could have had it in his backpack. Or I'm walking to my car, and he pulls out a zapper or whatever and gives me an electric shock, puts me in his car, and then you never see me again. So
Hmm.
that type of stuff happens every day.
I
So
also feel
that's
like, and
scary.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I also feel like there are certain things in that magnitude that are scarier to women because
yeah.
kind of the real life
The
aspect.
the
Have
R
you guys
words
seen
that I
American Psycho?
yeah, but I'm
Okay,
just gonna
what do
say
you
this.
think of
I
that?
found
You
that
think that was scary.
I
Yeah,
found
I
a lot
consider
of
that one a
horror.
horror film.
I found a lot of horror movies aimed towards women usually tend to have violations of the body, if you get me.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's to go with the word I can't say, but I'm just saying where women lose the control of their body and everything like that. That tends to be the
Well,
horror movies that tend
Torture,
to be.
you know, like Pinhead, things that Pinhead would do, or in the movie Saw. Okay, it wasn't
So
just.
it
hack
isn't
them
a
up.
horror movie.
Yes, it is. It is
It's
for a
not
lot of
scary,
people.
so it's fucking hilarious.
Getting
Well,
somebody
Janet,
and
in
trapping you and you having to cut off your own foot, you don't think that's scary. So if I
No.
come and I take you and put peanut butter all over you and tie you to the ground and then put ants on you.
Hey, if you're going to put
Okay,
peanut butter
that's
on me,
horror.
we're going to have a fun night.
Game over.
Someone's about to
man.
get sticky.
Horror is whatever scares you. So it could be different for every person.
Exactly.
So but to me, it's psychological. I mean, the thought of swimming in the ocean now, knowing there's darkness below me, not knowing what I'm going to get eaten by, that's scary to me.
Don't say it. Don't say it, Rowan. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I just got to say that with women and with what you were discussing 45 seconds ago, women in society are the gatekeepers, okay? Men, our set point is please, can we? Please, can we? Please, can we? And women decide yes, no, show me what you got, prove your worth.
What?
And
The nation is built on its women, ladies and gentlemen. Not
And
on
it is.
yeah.
The relations are built on what women want. And if women don't get that fulfilled, there's not going to be what the guy wants. Which the guy, no matter what, he just wants the release valve emptied out.
Yeah,
And
there
so-
was.
He wants to see his genes live on. And if the
Speaking
women are all
about that,
murdered, then
and
you
while
won't
you were-
have prodigy. You see?
yeah, and what you were just
You
talking
need-
about, there was a horror movie where this girl lived next door. Have any of you seen the movie Avatar with the blue weird cat people?
Oh God!
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
regret to say I did.
They
Yes,
look more like
but-
kangaroos to me.
Yeah, but you know the Earth General with the grey hair from that actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy was a total bastard.
Yeah,
I love
so he
him.
was playing
He was the most
a,
entertaining character in the movie. That's the sad part.
He was in the
Yeah.
Badlands too.
but he
Yeah,
was playing
Wiltshire
this
guy.
ex-cop. He was blinded, but it turns out he was blinded by the girl next door,
Oh.
right, in the car crash, and
Yeah, I
she
saw
also
that
killed
movie.
his
Those
wife
both of
and
them.
his child, right? So what he does is he kidnaps her, and her friends have to go because she's now breaking into his house because she's just a bitch. So all of her friends break into their house, but it turns out that this guy is like some super SAS badass fuckwad, right?
Yeah.
But he ends up blind and kidnapping her, tying her up, and just before they save her, he cuts a hole into her panties and takes out a turkey baster.
Oh.
Yeah, his whole plan was to get her pregnant, to get a new child.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Is this the film? Is this the movie? The more recent?
Do you think this was scary?
With that
Do you think that movie was scary?
No, I'm just saying it's.
Yeah, I didn't think it was scary at all.
I don't think horror movies are scary. Hey, Bubba, welcome back. I'm glad you weren't blown away.
Not that kind of storm.
Did God throw lightning at you and say "fuck you, bitch"?
No, it started raining and I had to get my comic books in out of the rain.
Oh,
You can't let those get ruined.
No, he cannot. But Dalek, you were saying?
Were you just talking about that movie that came out a few years ago about that blind man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fucking weird.
Wasn't
But
it
I'm
some-
just saying
wasn't
that's aimed at women because it has the whole it's one of the main fears of women.
Well, did you think Escape Room was scary?
I've never
The
heard of
fuck
that
is an
movie.
escape room?
The movie Escape Room.
I've never
where
heard
people
of
had to escape.
Why
from
don't you
a
explain
room.
that to us,
That's the
Jen?
one with Jodie
Yeah,
Foster,
please.
right?
'cause I'm not
Have you guys
familiar.
ever been to an escape room before?
Yeah,
No.
once. I thought it was boring and frustrating because the people I was with were dumb as fucking posts.
I told you,
Well,
I'm sorry I got
not
stuck
you.
under the table.
You have to take that risk. But that's the whole thing. If you were to take, it's almost like Saw, where they had to figure out by working together how to get out.
No.
So that's what an escape room is. If you get a good one, if you have a good city where you can have different types of escape rooms, it's really fun. And you have to have a good group of people
Yeah, we went to a
that
decent
want
one.
to try to solve the riddles and the rhymes to get
Our
out.
biggest problem was it was with the people my wife worked with. They had a decent one, had different places in it, but half of them just wanted to argue about it.
Yeah, so you can't have that. You got to have people that work
Yeah.
well. That's why they use it in team building.
Yeah.
In big corporations, they use escape rooms as a team building process to teach you to live together, to work together, and solve problems. But they're fun.
Okay. Stephen, you haven't said that in a bit. Is there any horror movies that kind of piss your life off?
Well, I kind of already went into my king of all kings, Event Horizon, but I wanted
Yeah.
to comment on what Janet was talking about with slasher films and
Mhm.
what you brought up quite rudely about the eroticism of there is an eroticism to classic horror, and that is someone from the dark comes out of nowhere and takes your life. I mean, that is quite literally the ultimate violation. And a slasher film, by definition, is a penetration film. The knife goes into your body.
Mhm. And you can penetrate men or women.
Mm.
That's right. So it's like all bets are off.
Yeah.
Never ignore the forgotten ones, ladies and gentlemen. Always hiding in the dark, waiting for the right moment to strike.
Yeah.
Just
But
like
see, all the
Jaws.
Hannibal movies, they were scary, don't you think? Good
Some
thrillers.
Some of the apparently the best bad guys are people who have nothing to lose. Like where you take everything from them, so they've got none left to lose. It's like, yeah, what's prison to them? So it's like, what will they do to you?
So, what would you consider No Country for Old Men? Is that a horror movie?
That's
Is that
a Western.
monster movie?
It's more of a thriller.
Yeah, it's
I
a
think-
thriller.
Yeah, it's that's a suspense thriller, because you're really following this killer around and you're trying to figure out what he's gonna do next. And I still hated the ending to that movie. I'm still mad that they never fucking got him. Like that he just retires and goes gently into that good night. Pissed me the fuck off.
I think
Sorry, I
that's
got a little
great
angry
thing
talking about it.
happened.
Here's a stupid question. What would you think of if Ghost was done as a horror movie?
I think it's still be a
Like
terrible
the
movie.
Whoopi Goldberg Patrick Swayze movie.
Yeah, that shit.
Oh
Yeah,
Lord.
it wouldn't have been good.
It would've still
I
been
thought
a
it was
bad
way
movie.
better as a romance than it was to be a horror movie.
Yeah, I didn't hate that movie. There
I mean, it was
that-
scary
yeah.
enough thinking about her having to make out with Whoopi Goldberg. You know what I mean? That was a nightmare right there.
I'm so surprised she stayed moist throughout the performance.
Oh shit!
No, it's worse than just she made out with Whoopi Goldberg. They done the whole hands thing where they were doing the clay thing together. That was Whoopi Goldberg the whole time.
Yeah, but it wasn't really. It was really Patrick Swayze, but if you
No, in the
Oh,
movie.
Physically in the room.
yeah, it was physically
Yeah.
in the room was him, and pretend
But-
in the movie it was Whoopi Goldberg.
It's like in the new X-Men, not X-Men, in the new Wonder Woman movie, the guy who takes over, her dead boyfriend takes over the guy's body, and people
So
are
she's
like,
basically raping some guy.
Yeah,
that
over
Yeah,
and
she
over.
didn't have
Oh,
sex
my.
with her
Pretty much, yeah.
because she sees him as someone else. See, that's
And
still
one of the
wrong.
and one of the things that really angers me, and this is going to just get off topic a little bit about when it comes to that is people were like, what's he complaining about? He was doing it with Gal Gadot, and I'm like, and?
Wow.
He might
Just
have been
flip the
gay.
script on
Maybe he
that.
wasn't interested in women.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Or what?
doesn't like
Or
the
what if
Drake
he?
girl.
What if he had a wife he really freaking loves, and you
No,
know?
it doesn't. It don't matter who he had. It's the same thing. It went for a man as it goes for a
I mean,
woman.
if it'd been a woman and a man did it to
Yep.
a woman, it would have been rape and everybody been in uproar. But why is it any
Because
different than it's happening
Wonder
to a
Woman.
man? I
That's
don't
a-
see a difference. I
that's
think
a
it was
good
rape.
point,
That's how I
honestly.
look at it.
Because it's
Yeah,
Wonder
like
Woman
it's
and
one of the
Gal Gadot.
reasons I won't watch the movie. Honestly,
But see, people say, "Oh, a guy gets a hard on, even if he can't be raped," and I'm like, "That's not true. Anybody who touches certain areas of your body, you're going to have a response to it. That doesn't mean you're wanting to do it."
I was going to say,
But-
fear erections do happen. Like
Yeah.
that's a real thing.
Pee erections happen,
Oh.
so I'm
But-
just saying
Also,
it's a
she's
natural thing that happens when you
Well,
certain
she's a
parts of your
god.
body.
It's
are
also
touched.
had to
she's a
research
fucking
that.
Amazon. He couldn't have stopped her if he wanted to.
no.
Well, then that still
No,
makes it
she's
right.
also not just an Amazon. She's more than that. She's half a god.
Wow.
But what was that movie with
For being half a
Demi
god,
Moore's
why
husband,
rape him?
Will Smith? What's his name? What's her
Bruce
husband's
Willis.
name?
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis, the one where he saw he was dead.
Oh my god, that
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
was so fucking shit.
That was good.
Dang.
That was a good movie. I loved it.
Dang,
I
Potato,
have-
you
me
don't
too.
get on people's movies they like. Holy shit.
Me too. I loved it.
Reel it back, my
But
guy.
I felt so bad for that little boy. I cried all the time for him when he was locked in the closet and all that stuff. I bawled my eyes out over
that
him.
would be upsetting as fuck.
It was
What
terrible.
about I Am Legend? When that dog died, I cried.
I
Fair.
don't like Will Smith, so I didn't really watch that movie.
Yeah, I was.
Favre-
That was good.
Yeah,
It's
I
good
hear
movie.
that
Who
rumors
was
is that
Will
Favre
Smith?
cheered when he smacked Chris Rock.
No, because I hate him. He's a washed up piece of shit who takes shots at people he has no business to.
Hey, Grilla, good to see you.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Will Smith fan myself. I was kind of hoping Chris Rock would surprise us all and show us that, actors can fight. But,
He was
He was
trying.
a gentleman.
I would
think,
say, yeah,
to
Chris
handle
Rock
it.
showed he was
Right.
more of a man
Like the
than
look
Will
of shock
Smith.
on his face. He was looking off to the side of the stage, like, "What do I do?" Like,
Right?
I think he was more
Maybe
looking.
he thought it was a stunt, and then he was shocked when he realized it wasn't a stunt. He was like, "What the?"
yeah, poor guy was probably stunned. Like,
Yeah, he
I'd
didn't know
be
what to
kind
do,
of
I don't
stunned
think.
and frozen in place.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
millions of
I
people
don't
are
think he was
watching that. I wouldn't know
stunned.
what to do.
I've been slapped before, and I'm sure many of you guys have been slapped by a larger
Yep.
guy before, or at least somebody went to go swing at you.
I've
The
taken
body
hits to the
does
face.
things instinctually like you cannot believe, especially if you're
Yeah.
a dude. There's no
What are the
way
five
Chris Rock
fingers
would have
say
got
to the
that
face?
land. He was standing
Right?
still on purpose. The whole I'm still of the staged camp. I believe the whole
mean,
thing
I don't-
was
I
a
don't
Especially
gag.
somebody you've known for a long time, they just walk up and do it. You're like, "What?"
holy
What
shit, I
happened?
can have this many on. Cool, welcome,
Hey!
Steve.
What's up, everybody?
Yum, yum.
I'm
I
gonna.
did not know I could do this.
Yeah, you can have up to 10 on regular StreamYards. So
What are you talking
On
about,
paid
Potato?
for
The first time
StreamYard.
I came onto this panel,
Right.
there was like 14 guys on here or something.
No. Yeah, I thought I forgot to pay.
Revan,
Well,
you've got your own personalized background. That means you paid.
Mhm.
No, I meant this month, dude.
Hey, Thad.
Anywho,
Well, maybe it's not run out yet.
yeah.
so
Well,
where
anyway.
in the conversation have I entered?
Well,
Randomness.
You will now be forced to tell us what you think of horror films. So,
Yeah.
favorites,
I
dislikes.
am a massive connoisseur of horror films. In fact, I'm about to start a YouTube channel
Ooh.
based on horror films and review.
Maybe
Okay.
you'll be a rising star. You never know.
I have I've been watching your stuff, Mr. Athay there. Yeah, Your rising star. I catch that cheeky British wit. I catch it. I was raised in the UK, so I catch the humor.
Hey, Moira, I'm gonna send you a screenshot, okay, girl?
No. Of what?
So anyway, No, like I eat, breathe, and survive with horror in mind. So,
What was the last good horror film that came out in theaters, you think?
the last good one I saw, I did not see in theaters. I saw it streaming last night. Was Barbarian.
Oh, I've heard good things.
Dude, that movie. Oh. All I gotta say is this.
Is that new?
Yeah, if anybody has HBO Max, streaming service HBO Max, you can actually watch it right now. It's in theaters still, but it's also on HBO Max. If anybody gets a chance to watch that movie, you think you know where you're going with it? No, that movie curveballs 3 different times. It's
really
crazy.
would depend on what kind of movie it really is, because I'm kind of picky as it is, and I watch horror movies for entertainment value, and they don't scare me. So if it's not something I'm interested in, I'm probably gonna shut it off.
Okay, it's I can't really do. It's an imprisonment movie, somewhat.
Oh.
But it also has some elements of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Nah.
Like you get to see a guy get his head bashed against a wall, and it happens out of nowhere.
What was that horror movie with oh fuck, your man from Dawson's Creek, where he moved to Japan and it's a TV show, Farv.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he moved. So I forget his name, but this guy moved to Japan. It was a Skeleton Key, right? He moved to Japan. His friend died, and he went there taking over. He went to this underground paranormal photography thing, because I'm a big fan of paranormal stuff, right?
Right.
And he went there to this underground paranormal comic book, and then he went to more magazines. He was a photographer, just freelance is what you'd call him, right?
Right.
Hey, Zombie Box, good to see you, man. So he starts getting this neck pain, right? Because his turns out that he had a Japanese girlfriend who killed herself, right?
Oh.
Now, yeah, and his friend was murdered by a ghost. Now, everywhere he goes, there's always a white smudge in every single one of his selfies, his photos, everything. And it turns out that there is a female ghost after him. Now, at the end of it, he's catatonic. He's bent over, he's hunched over in the chair, but they're like, yeah, he's brain dead, basically, and he'll be like this forever. And they're like, oh, okay. But then someone takes a photograph, and the ghost who's been following them throughout the entire movie, that they think they got rid of, they went to a temple and everything, they think they got rid of, was sitting on his shoulders with her fingers in the side of his head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I hate movies like that. The ones where you think they got out or got away and they didn't.
Oh,
Oh,
those movies are so good. Have you guys ever seen the British version of The Descent?
No. What?
Okay, there's 2 different versions of that movie. It's about a group of girls that goes, a group of women, not girls, that go to they're cave divers.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard
So they're
of this.
lesbians.
No.
Only some of them.
Actual
cave
caverns.
dwellers.
Actual caverns
Well,
with diving equipment.
So anyway, they go into
They
this. They
like
go into these
crevices.
caverns. Yeah. Jesus. Anyway, they go into this. They get into this cave, and they run into these things that live in the cave.
Mhm.
They're humanoid. They're cannibalistic.
They're chuds.
They get
Yeah.
hunted,
Kind of,
basically.
yeah.
Okay, they get hunted, basically. And this girl's the only one. She thinks she's the only one left. She gets out,
Okay.
and she's in the car driving. And now this is where the 2 different versions diverge. There's an American version and a British version. The American version ends hopeful. The British version does not. The American version, she gets out, and the last thing you see is her just driving off for the horizon. Okay.
They only did this so they could make that stupid sequel anyway.
The British version, she's
still
driving, She's in the car. She's driving. Right beside her in the seat next to her, she sees her dead friend who she had left for the monsters. This person turns around and makes this moaning like noise at her, and then the next thing she knows, the car goes off the road. Next thing she knows, she's waking up in the cave again, and you come to find out she never left the cave.
There's
I
a
like
new
that movie.
movie.
It plays with your mind.
Yeah.
I really like the Descent movie. I like part 2 as well. It's not as good, but it does kind of wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah. Now, look, okay, so here's the thing. 2022 has been good for horror, okay? There have been a crap ton of good horror movies this year. X and Pearl were really good. I'm hearing good things about the movie Smile. I haven't seen it yet.
That's gonna be creepy.
The new Hellraiser movie was really good.
Have any of you seen Fall
A
or
lot
heard
of
about
these
Fall?
just don't really fall into my genre of interest. I've seen of some of them, but they don't interest me.
There's a really weird new horror movie out called Fall, where two girls, like free climbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, two girls get stuck up on a
tower.
pole. Yeah, on a tower, and the movie's meant to induce vertigo. I saw that far.
So what?
That looks
Ah.
upsetting.
Sorry,
okay,
this is your
to
first finger.
So to the guy that's saying that that a lot of the things that I'm mentioning aren't his type of horror, what is your type of horror?
That's far.
Man, I grew up on a little bit of everything, but like some of the really, like the weird existential mental ghost shit doesn't really do nothing for me.
Okay.
It just bores the hell out of me because I watch horror for entertainment value, not to be scared. My mother raised me different.
So
My
here's
mama
the
raised
thing.
me to be a good boy, not a bitch.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is how I got into horror. My mother was not born in this country. My mother was born in Sicily. Okay.
Ooh.
So she came up with Italian horror, giallo films.
Oh, I'm
Dario
familiar with
Argento,
giallo
buddy.
films.
Giallo can be very violent, very.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Hello?
think we lost. Did we lose
Uh-oh.
him? What happened?
All right.
I think the mafia got him.
The potato net must be down.
Talk about channel suppression, folks.
I know, right?
Oh.
Jeez.
I'll be back. I just need to get a comb for my hair.
Vijada Gotti must be working over at YouTube now, and she's suppressing the male voice.
Oh, God.
Hey, I'm happy she's gone out of Twitter.
Yeah, most
But,
people with half
Steve-
a brain are.
Steven, are you into Japanese horrors by any chance yourself?
I know.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
No,
There we
we
go.
can't.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was checking something. I've got a dinner order coming. I was looking at my
You
delivery.
fat bastard.
But I'm familiar with,
Hey.
with like Lucio Fulci and
Right,
I'm
Lucio
spacing his fucking
Fulci.
name. Fuck.
Argento?
Dario
Argento.
Argento. Thank you, Argento.
So I was raised on my mother didn't raise no pussy, okay? And very early in life, my mother, because I was I would jump at my own shadow when I was younger.
Really?
I was a twin, so I have a twin sister, and my sister was evil, but I would jump at my own shadow, okay? And my mother was like, "Oh no, I'm not having one of them."
A child?
No, a child that was afraid of everything.
My mother actually told me when she got me started in horror movies young that I want you to know that none of this shit is real, so there's no reason to be afraid of it.
That's pretty much what I got. See, my dad was never into horror movies. My dad's opinion of horror movies is the world's horrible enough. So he never really liked, I mean, unless it was like sci-fi horror. He loved Alien and Aliens and stuff like that. But like just regular like slasher movies, stuff like that. My dad hated those.
Well, slasher
my
movies
mom-
can be kind of boring. It really depends on
They
how
can. I mean, I find the Jason movies incredibly boring,
Do
honestly.
you think
Okay,
older
look.
movies are better? I mean, the old movies. Do you think they're better for scariness?
Yes.
Okay, well, so anyway, I'm getting to a point here. Let me wrap where I was going with this. So, one afternoon, my mom decides, because we had a satellite dish that we could get, overseas movies and stuff. my mother decides she's going to make me sit through some of Dario Argento's movies, and I wasn't getting the Suspiria.
Oh Lord,
Suspiria is weird as fuck.
Right?
Never heard of
that movie.
I saw it like 30 years ago. It was very weird.
It's some of like the zombie stuff that they did over there, like him and Lucio Fulci and stuff like that.
Did you see Phenomena? That was another one Argento did.
Yeah, I haven't. I have to I've seen it, but I have to rewatch it, and I've actually got it saved on one of my streaming services to rewatch.
I've got it on DVD over here, both versions.
Like I said, here in about 2 weeks, I'm launching a horror movie review channel on YouTube. So
nice. Come on to my channel and I'll help you push it.
I will be. I'll also be running true crime on that channel as well. So,
Dude, can I join?
You're gonna have so many female viewers with that true crime shit.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get into true crime as well.
Yeah, I actually want to get a true crime onto Potato Revan.
Here's the
Talk about
here's
some
the
of the
point.
serial killers, the famous serial killers, and you'll get a lot of.
Here's what I'm going to do with my channel. I'm going to have two recorded shows a week that are just going to be scripted material, and then every Saturday I'm going to have a live stream, and that's when I'll have the panel shows and all that for people to come on and talk about true crime and horror and stuff like that. The very first movie I'm actually going to review for my channel is going to be the movie Barbarian that I watched last night.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Now, you gotta get some good traction on that. I've been hearing a lot of guys talking about it. Was it on Klobby's channel? Mark C was talking about it.
There's only a few horror movies that have bothered me in recent years, and the four now that have bothered me, because most horror movies, like you, Favre, I just watch them for entertainment value. Nothing scares me. I've been desensitized. I've worked in the funeral industry for 25 years, so nothing. I mean, I'm starting to get to where like my job stresses me out way too much. I'm about to transition out, to be honest. But you can only last for so long in that job, to be honest.
Before they catch you?
No, that's only if you're a scumbag like my fucking father.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh my.
Wow.
Yeah, backstage you'll have to tell him the story.
Right?
So the four horror movies that have gotten to me in recent years. Okay. The first being the movie Hereditary by Ari Aster.
Oh God.
And the reason why that movie gets me is because that movie is less about horror, more about how grief tears a family apart.
Yeah.
The second movie that has bothered me in recent memory is the movie Winchester, which was about Sarah Winchester, who built the Winchester Mystery House.
That was very, very well made.
She was an interesting case of humanity. She kept believing that there was that all the dead, everyone who died by the Winchester guns, were haunting her and her husband.
Yep.
Oh,
that is correct.
So she built houses.
The third movie that got me is a movie that it's a little like there's only like two people through most of the movie. It's a father and son, they're morticians, and they run a family-owned business. It's called the Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That you can currently watch right now. It's streaming on Shudder. If you have AMC Plus or the Shudder service, you can watch that one.
That scared me.
Did you know that the emergency doll that you learn to do CPR on is actually taken from a French dead woman who nobody knows her identity?
I had heard that.
And the mortician took a cast of her face and made the CPR doll.
That is correct.
So technically, she is the most remembered person in history and the most kissed person in history.
And then the last movie that has really just gotten me like, whoa, what the hell, was that movie last night, Barbarian.
Nice. Hey, there's Raquel.
Hi, Raquel.
Hey guys, I will hop back in here in just a little bit. I've got to wait for my food order. They're about to be here.
I think
we
might be wrapping up soon. Anyway, we're past the hour.
No, I'm going. Me and Ryan were talking. We're going to do a double length stream this week, if that's okay.
Nice.
I might not be here for the whole thing, but I'll stay as
Yeah.
long as I can.
Yeah. So I'll be back shortly, guys.
All right, man.
Okay.
That's a reason
Yeah.
we started at midnight, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, UK time to accommodate my own schedule. So,
God.
thank you, Potato.
No worries, man. As I've always said to everyone who comes on my stream, I work with the panel. I don't have a life, so I work with you guys. Rather than you work with me. That's how you grow and do shit like that. But so, Stephen, I was asking you. I'll ask all of you. Are you guys? Any of you watch much Japanese horror?
I watched The Ring.
Which
the
version?
Japanese.
There's
Japanese
multiple
version.
versions.
Not the Americanized
Wait,
version.
what?
Yes, there are. That movie did get remade in Japan. I just can't remember the name of the other one.
I
Well,
watched.
it's a much older story. A lot of
Yeah.
those are actually based on older stories. Some of them are based on crime dramas that are historically
Yeah.
based on true events, much like Psycho and other movies that are based on true events in our literature.
I mean, The Ring itself, the one I watched was circa 2013. If that makes it easier.
Yeah, mine was like 2001 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I haven't seen it in about 10 years, but it was a great movie.
Yeah, the Japanese Grudge movie was a lot more what the fuck than the English one, because in the Japanese one there was a little boy in it as well.
Yeah, because it was the father murdered both of them. So yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, as what the fuck was the English ghost? The Japanese little boy used to just appear and walk and just waddle along the floor on all hands and legs, and then just like he was frame skipping different places at times and just look at you, and he'd scream like a cat, and for some reason he was running around in his underpants.
Did
That's
you
how
guys
he
see
died.
the movie Cujo?
No.
I saw it once.
Is that about
I
the
thought it
dog?
was very scary.
Yeah,
It's
about
for a
a dog.
mother with her child that's dying in her car, and the only reason she can't get out of it is because there's a rabid dog trying to kill you. That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Well, it must be scary for a cat.
Yes, it is scary for a kid.
What about the train? What's it called? The Train to Busan.
Oh my god.
Oh
that
yeah,
movie
the
was
last train to
wild.
Busan.
I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
That's
I
got a
see
really,
bits and pieces.
got a
and
really
Those
it's kind of
things are
freaky.
fast.
it's got
I
a
do
really
not like
fucking
fast
sad
zombies.
ending.
Oh.
There is there was this Irish thing back every Halloween. RT does horror shit every now and then, but they tried to, but it ended up just being kind of sad. Where they done a thing called Orion, a one-off, right? And it was essentially that death is a train, but he will not go to the afterlife until he fills his train, and it is 50 carriages long. Right? So people are on this train. Some of them are there over 150, 200 years. And you're just looking and you're like, what the fuck? But at the end of it, like, because the thing is, they're deteriorating as they age. So you get on at the front, and the more people get on, your seat gets moved back. Right? So they deteriorate, and they ended up at the back of the train, essentially as skeletons. Like living skeletons. Or it was Orion, it was an Irish thing, it was in the Irish language.
Oh.
So he turned around, and at the end of it, like, the train just started going through the last station, and hold on, give me a minute.
That's never a good sign.
Here's how I prefer to drink my honey, or how to drink my beer.
Nice.
Sorry about that. So at the end of the movie, he started going through the last station, and as he went through the last station, you'd see like there was this skeleton at the very end, and it just stood up, and it turns out the skeleton at the end was the ancestor of the last person to get on, and they just like all their bones and everything just went smoosh, and they became a person again. It was
That's why we
weird,
don't
but
hear much about Irish horror, ladies and gentlemen.
Because it's not good.
Which is a shame. It's a shame that there are some brilliant ideas that could be concocted in one country, but their cinema systems and their
Irish
media isn't able to make it good.
Yeah, the top budget for an Irish movie is 2 million.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah. Like, that's low.
Oh, yes, very.
Did you guys see the movie High Tension? That was a foreign horror movie.
No.
None of you saw it?
Well, technically, Janet, everything from outside of America is a foreign horror movie. I broke my friend's brain when we were going to see a movie. When I said, you want to see a foreign film? He's like, yeah, sure, okay. And we ended up watching Infinity War. And he's like, dude... Yeah,
movie?
It's Infinity War. And he's like, dude, this isn't a foreign film. I said, it's made in America. And he just stood there like, what?
I mean, if you
have
want
an IQ test immediately.
If you want to see some really just unhinged weird shit, look up a Japanese horror manga writer or anime named Junji Ito.
Yeah, there you go, baby.
That
That's what I'm
dude is
talking
fucking
about.
nuts.
This is like Twilight Zone meets Lovecraft.
Yeah, it's
kind of stuff.
some bizarre stories in that guy.
All very grounded, but it goes crazy cosmic or supernatural, like in a heartbeat. And it's all 2D, flat, super flat kind of illustration in manga form. And it's all black and white.
Yeah.
And yet you forget that it's black and white almost immediately.
And
the imagery is
they've
so
done
fantastic.
some anime adaptations, and those are fucking twisted looking.
Yeah, speaking of which, has anybody ever seen, goodness, what's the name? There's one called Paprika and another one called Perfect Blue by an anime. These are both animated features from Japan, so they're anime.
I don't remember them, but I am familiar with them.
One of them is like this girl. She's trying to break into the acting
Raquel,
industry.
I thought you might be.
And she starts having an experience where she thinks possibly that she's being stalked by one of her like crazy fans. But by the end of the film, you're just like, what the hell? What happened? Really? Wait a second. Was because people are playing tricks on her. She's being trolled by her manager, and it's like all kinds of weird gaslighting going on in the background.
Okay.
But it gets a little terrifying for her. I mean, because you start getting into her skin, and you're like, what is going on? This girl is in danger. Somebody please help her.
Please
so
help me.
Japan does mental horror like really, really well.
Yeah, psychological. Yeah,
this
like
is going to
that.
sound really strange. Anyone here play Skyrim?
Sure.
A long time ago.
Yeah,
Been
there
a
was
while.
there was a mission in Skyrim where, and I kept saying this would make a fantastic movie. So you go into this village, and because you're the Dragonborn, you're special. You can see ghosts, right?
Okay.
And you walk in and you see this little girl, and she's like, "Please help me! It's so cold."
Oh,
You have
I
to go
remember
around-
this mission.
Yeah, that would have made a fantastic horror. Would have made a fantastic horror movie.
What was the name of that game?
It's called
Skyrim.
Skyrim.
Elder
Skyrim,
Scrolls
that's right.
Skyrim. Yeah, so you're there and you're going around and you have to solve the mystery. But the thing is, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I knew her father," and it's like, "What about the little girl?" And they go quiet, like, "I don't want to talk about her anymore." But as it turns out, her father went and had sex with a vampire, right? And he became a troll to her. And as part of being a troll, you basically the vampire becomes everything.
Right,
to you.
thrall. Right, but
Yeah.
just for the pronunciation, thrall. He doesn't mean troll, like a cave troll.
No, I'm not saying troll.
Thrall.
I'm not saying troll. I'm saying troll.
There it is, kids. We got it on camera.
What? I'm saying troll, not troll.
It's probably based on at least a short story.
It more definitely is, because they had like some decent writers there, and at the end of it, you kill the vampire, right?
Yeah, I love that mission where you go into that deep cave and you save a bunch of people that are still down there, and there's a bunch of vampires. It's crazy. It gets nuts.
Did you let him live, Stephen? Did you let him live, or did you choose death?
I chose to just wipe my map clean. Usually before and after I became the Dragonborn. Like, I'll go on missions that I know exist because I'm a human being playing in the universe. So I would do like a lot of missions that I really enjoyed before I even took on the mantle of Dragonborn.
I took on the mantle of Dragonborn because I didn't know about this first, so I just became Dragonborn. But the thing is, I'm just saying, did you let her father live, or did you dispatch him?
Oh no, that guy needs to go. Forget it.
Oh, that's what I did. Yeah. But the thing is, it's there, and when you use an axe, so he's there and he's crying, right? Mm-hmm. And he asked his daughter for permission, like, to forgive her after you light a fire, and she's like, I'm finally warm again, but she can't feel the heat. She's like, oh, it's cold again, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's trapped her there, and it's like, he is her tether. So you have a thing, you're like, trap her in the soul gem and break it when he dies, or dispatch the father, and so you dispatch her father, and as soon as you do, his body's there. I beheaded him. Oh. Right? And he hits the ground, and then she's there, and she looks up and she smiles, and she's like, Daddy! And the father's there as a ghost, and she hugs him and she says, I'm finally warm again.
Yep.
And then she just fades away. And the thing about it at the same time is that house is never rebuilt. No matter how much you do after the war, after there's new kings, after everything, that house is never rebuilt in any of the DLCs. And I love that.
You know, I went over to France when I was 20 years old. And we were there in Brest. And I took one of the bikes off the ship and started riding around Brest, France. And this guy sees me. And I ride up along the street, and he waves me down. Are you American? Yeah, I'm American. Where are you from? I'm from south of Chicago.
Yeah.
You fucking Americans, look at that church over there. It's never been rebuilt. You guys bombed it in 1944. I'm like, okay, so it's like 1995, 51 years. Why can't you get a union out here to start it up? Come on now. And I rode off. And that's exactly what it just reminded me of.
It was probably a German church, to be honest, folks.
No.
But that's why it wasn't rebuilt, because it was built by the Germans.
If you want to get into like global conspiracies, it probably wasn't built because it contains stuff that they don't want anybody to know about. You know, if you want to connect it to like maybe the rebirth Church of Christ, where Christ actually escaped the crucifixion and went into and became the Merovingian families.
Oh, yeah, in France, I think.
Right? What is it called? First, Last Blood or something like that?
I have no idea. This is new to me, but I'll listen.
It's just it's another one of those conspiracy theories that are out there that are that it's basically that there was a bloodline that survived the crucifixion. And it's kind of what Dan Brown explored, but there's I've read thousands of pages on the subject, and there's a lot of evidence that suggests that what Dan Brown was proposing is a real thing, or at least a hell of a lot of people really still believe it. That's for sure.
Jesus fled the Middle East for France. Mary Magdalene.
Marion did with a child. Marion did with a child.
Oh.
So, speaking about Jesus and things like that, have any of you ever seen the movie Legion?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is actually very good. It's
Legion, is that the sequel to Exorcist? Legion?
No.
Okay, because there's an Exorcist Legion that is also fantastic with George C. Scott.
So essentially, in this movie, God loses faith in humanity again.
Okay.
And instead of sending a flood, he sends his angels down to kill every.
Oh yeah, the guy who plays Vision is like is the hero angel in the movie.
Yep. Yes.
All right, guys.
And,
I'm gonna have to piss off because I've been up since 3 a.m.
Yeah, you need to go 9 nights.
So, well, probably not, but I need to take something for a migraine.
Okay, night, buddy.
Later,
Take
guys.
care.
Fire me, Bruce me, Fire. Both of you served.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
how you doing, man?
Pretty good, buddy. Get some rest, man.
I'll work on it. My wife will probably
Yeah.
yell at me anyway. Later.
So Boosh is wondering, what about Poltergeist? We've all seen it.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really, really good.
I have
me
not
too.
seen
I love the concept of it, of how there's a membrane between realms and all that. I thought that was the perception of that. I thought was really
Yeah.
good. For
That was.
scare factor.
The fact is, it's like you can't do that nowadays with that TV anymore. I miss those old big box ass TVs. Did you ever have, Ryan? Did you have glass TVs growing up?
What do you think is to my left?
A wall? I don't know.
Expand me so I can show you my television.
Hold on, you want us to expand them? Okay, hold on. Raquel, can we have your pizza?
Look, I have a television right here.
Nice.
Dang.
With a
part of my
VHS tape
new-
deck. Is
part
there
of my
VHS
new
in there or
number.
DVD?
Yeah, there's books here, book tower, a television with the cola can, and
Do
I
you have
thought,
VHS tapes too to play on
yes,
it?
yes, I use them as curtains. They used to be the tower, but then I needed curtains, so I just put them on the windowsill.
Oh
I
my God! Wow.
That is the most ghetto ass
They're
shit
done.
I've ever heard.
Every single one of those tapes are done. For sure. If they're catching a bunch of sunlight, if they're blocking a bunch of sunlight, those things are just toast.
Well, the only sunlight is really in the morning, where it's not
It's
much.
Wales. There's not
And then
much
it goes
sun.
straight over, and then it's just shade. Then,
And,
so I
and
think
that,
that's fine.
that sunlight doesn't really hit any good important tapes. You have like the Lex sci-fi TV series collection catching the sunlight. It's good because you're helping get rid of some truly schlock trash TV.
No,
Wow.
no,
I'm
he's
gonna
got.
start shots fired. I fucking hate Lex. I've tried watching it multiple times. I can't stand Eva Aberman. There's not a single redeeming thing about that show except for maybe the commercials were good.
It's a shame I can't find any VHS tapes anymore, ladies and gentlemen, even for sale offline. Because if I could, I would build many, many towers of videos and all sorts of structures. When I was a boy, sorry to go off topic, Potato, but when I was a boy, I actually built a honeycomb structure out of videotapes with a traditional tower base, and then stacking all the videos side by side to create a honeycomb. You could actually put things in them.
Oh, there's someone. There's a new face. Hello, Blair de Blair. Please like and subscribe, everyone.
Hey,
Blair
Ryan.
de Blair is a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah, we did. I just did a show with him on Thursday. Fantastic stuff.
Fantastic.
Well, Ryan, does your VHS work still, so you can still
Oh,
watch
the
those
VHS
videos?
in the television has not worked for years. I've had this television, folks, for about as long as I've been alive. So I just keep it for sentimental reasons.
Does the television work?
Yes, you can switch it on, but it's an old TV with only a SCART lead in the back. So ever since the
That is a
PlayStation
word I
4
haven't heard in years.
SCART.
Remember? Yeah, SCART lead. Like, remember instead of going for a V8, going for HDMI where you need to go for a SCART lead. But guys, Dalek said he's going to head off. He wants to head to bed.
Have
It's
a
just
good night, Dalek.
It's just ever since I got a PS4 and then later an Xbox One.
Yeah.
The television hasn't
Yeah,
really been
good night.
useful.
Yeah, I'm off to bed.
Dalek, you want to show yourself?
Well, okay, I'll just make this quick. On Sunday, I'm gonna be hosting a live stream over on my channel, Dalek451, and the subject is an open discussion about Doctor Who.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, which
Fantastic.
version of Doctor Who?
I think it's an in general thing.
Well, no. When I say in general, I'm talking about you properly omit the season with you know who, right? It didn't happen.
Wow.
It didn't
happen. It's like this shit where I hear about the Star Wars sequels. Those didn't happen. Those were a bad dream. Continue to read the Thrawn trilogy. That's the Star Wars sequel trilogy that you fucking deserve.
Guys, I'm just giving everyone a 10-minute count. 10-minute count before we wrap it up.
Okay. Dalek, have a good night. So Sunday. What time are you thinking?
I know it's definitely gonna. Yeah, it is gonna be definitely gonna be on Sunday, but I'm not quite sure about the time yet.
To be announced. To be announced.
To be announced.
Nice.
Yeah.
To be determined.
Thank you very much, Dalek, for coming on.
Thank you, Dalek.
And yes, was it Bruce asking the question?
That was me. Yes, you remember me from when we used to hang with Yvette.
With Yvette, yeah.
Dude, that's Briss Lombard.
Was that with Darius on his
Yes.
channel? Yeah, I thought
Darius
so.
Munchausen. One of the finer men to be. I didn't mistook him for to be like 30 or 40. Dude's like barely in his 20s. He's
about my age.
Yeah, he's like seriously like super young, and he's there showing off like Donna Belisarius TV show intros like Airwolf. He's like, listen to this jamming tune. This was a fucking show, and I'm like, yeah, it was. How old are you? I was born in '97. What?
I was born in '99.
Yeah.
No way, Ryan.
Fucking
seriously?
Jesus. Yeah.
Lord.
I
I'm
just
23.
can't with you guys. I just can't.
Yeah.
It's
I
hysterical.
was born.
I mean, that's fine. You'll be at a stream or you'll be in a group one of these days where you're talking to somebody and they look at you kind of blankly and you're like, "What's wrong? You just said something. I don't know what you just said." And you repeat what you said, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" Because I have no reference.
I've been on
Mike-
those.
My cousin in Maryland, she's a teacher, and she turned around and she said, "You know you're old when you're teaching your students' grandkids."
Wow.
Why? I'm like, Margaret, why are you still teaching? If you fart, you'll break your hip. But, yeah, so, anyone want to start chilling themselves, or we'll go for another few minutes and we'll wrap it up? What do you think?
Whatever
No,
you want.
Stephen,
to do.
you were
You're the
saying?
channel host,
I
my friend.
wanted to ask Ryan. You were displaying a piece of artwork just now, earlier, and I noticed something aesthetically about the content because I've seen this style of artwork. Some of your thumbnails contain this. There's an awful lot of block work in your art style. There's definitely, and I'm wondering if the whole stacking thing is associated directly to this aesthetic. I mean, there is a visual similarity between your stacking art, your tower building.
It's about foundations, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that our foundations as a civilization are falling to bits. And the reason I was moving my head about because I've lost the comb that I was using to comb my hair. So, but yes, it's only for practical purposes because I don't have a shelf and I didn't want this to be a big white background. So I like building things.
Yeah, you were talking about building a honeycomb with videotapes when you were younger. And I had no idea that this was a thing from your youth.
I was 5 foot. It was 7 foot.
Your dad must have been pissed.
Oh, especially when they fell down, because they had to fall down. It was like
Did it hit your cat or dog?
No, we don't have pets. Too much of what's the word? Effort.
But yeah,
Edgar Casey and me thinks that this
your
is
dad chose to keep
definitely
you.
something from your previous life, Ryan, is emerging out of your personality. You were a bricklayer or a stonemason or one of those stone wall builders with flagstones, stacked flat flagstone. I could easily see something like that emerging from a past knowledge. There's certainly enough evidence to suggest it.
Well,
So,
I'll let you
yeah,
guys speak your minds while I look for a comb desperately.
Yeah, I was, Stephen, that brings me into the thing, like, one of the things I'm thinking about, and Potato Revan bi-monthly, is the like from the old Doomcock is the Exozone, where we talk about like reincarnation, paranormal. I suppose it'd be classed as an alternative history, possibly.
Yeah, Supreme Heretic does a bit on that.
Yeah,
he's done a few, and Salty and Purple Valkyrie also do a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah,
as well,
I was thinking about adding it in because it's actually really fun. Even
if you
don't
just
believe
put
it,
in an
it's
open question, everybody tell their craziest ghost ideas. You know, like books that they've read. Journeys Out of Body is my initial experience about whether or not the whole ghost thing might actually be astral travelers. So
okay. So
there's
I'm
a
going
huge
to wrap.
body of information.
Yeah. So we're going to start shilling ourselves, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Okay. And Stephen will talk more about this behind the scenes because I really want you involved in it.
Sure.
If
Yeah,
that's
well, you know how to touch me.
Oh, softly and gently.
Softly and gently, right, Janet? I mean, God. But before we really start shilling, and I hate to keep extending the show because 2 hours ain't so bad. But Janet, what is your setup? Are you using a new camera that allows this kind of stuff to happen, or is it an app your camera is working through, or something?
Johnny, you're muted.
Muted.
No. Yeah.
Sorry. It's called a snap cam. Yeah. It
How
took
do
me a
you
while to
run
get
that
it set up.
through? Like, how do you run Snapcam through like StreamYards or whatever?
OBS.
OBS.
Yeah, OBS system. Bruce
Gotcha.
and some other people helped me get it all set up.
Well, that is fucking awesome. I mean,
Because I was already using it because before I started doing anything online, I was doing it through my phone.
Right.
Yeah.
On my phone. And I was trying to take this to this, one place to another.
Yeah, well, that
I've
is
seen you do a lot of
fantastic.
If you
Yeah,
want to
the
see
filters I've
Warford,
seen you work on. Yeah,
Here's
like
one
that
I
image
think
right
is
there.
really creepy. Look at this one. Did you guys see the movie Escape from L.A.?
it's a good movie.
Remember the people that did all the surgeries on themselves
Oh, wow.
in
No.
L.A.?
That's a big no.
Oh, sweet. Guys, Raquel's doing a hangout stream a little bit later on tonight. Fantastic. I know what I'm doing.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Bruce, you want to shield yourself, and then we'll go across, and then we'll go down to Dalek and over, if that's okay.
Tomorrow at roughly 12:30, I'm going to put the word out to my streamers in my panel that we will be starting in probably in the 1 o'clock hour Central Standard Time. We will be doing a Dungeons and Dragons stream. Actually, it's more Pathfinder First Edition, but I say D&D because people can. Oh, he's playing a game with his friends. Yeah, and I'm going to use stuff like everything that's on my fucking work desk right now. And
nice.
This is my hobby. What do you do for your hobby? That's the thing,
My hobby is illegal. It involves dismembering people.
So anyway, one of my panelists on this stream is actually here with us tonight, and that would be the lovely Miss Janet from Another Planet.
Yes.
And she's new to the gaming, and she's absolutely turned into a crowd favorite that tunes in. And if you guys want to join up and watch, be part of the chat, that'd be great. We start roughly about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Central Standard Time, Chicago time for those of you that are using your pull-down menus. And I'll be posting a update to my StreamYard later tonight to get the YouTube post created so you can join in and be there. They are they're having fun, and then on Monday, me and Janet will review and discuss at length the movie The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, Janet. Do you really need to chill after that? Is there anything you'd like to push?
My channel is mostly just shorts. I just do little shorts, and like self-help, funny, pickup lines. Workout videos. This little stupid stuff.
Absolutely
and then
fantastic.
I'm also reading my book Revelation that I wrote. And I'm reading it in little bite-sized pieces. It's about
Janet,
vampires.
In January, I'm going to be running an author stream. Would you like to join us?
Yeah, I guess. It depends on what day.
It's a day that ends in Y. I don't have an idea. Yeah, I don't have a plan. So I'm just trying to get
Well, just
names
let
of
me
butts
know.
and seeds.
I
Yeah.
like it. I never thought I'd ever do anything like this. I made those
sure.
little videos, and when someone said, you need to start a TikTok. So
Oh.
I did TikTok for a little bit, and then when YouTube came out with shorts, I moved over to YouTube. But on
Nice.
Monday nights, I'm with Bruce on his channel, and on Tuesday nights, I'm on Drew's channel, and we do the
I'd
United
agree.
Resistance.
Nice.
So that's what
Absolutely
I do.
fantastic. Orion!
My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I am looking for my comb.
Hold
that I
on,
was
Ryan. I'm going to let you go last because I absolutely love how you end things. I'm going to come back to you last.
Thank you. I'm just looking for my comb
Yeah.
desperately because it isn't mine.
Ryan will get a beating. Dalek, you want to shield yourself or are you gone?
I think I already did.
Oh, you already did, so you just want to pop off? Or you want to stay till we actually log off?
I mean, you're about to wrap up anyway, aren't you? So
Yeah. So, hey, there's a face I haven't seen in a while. Oh, hey there.
Hey,
Sorry.
Time Prophet. Hey, Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
Isn't your, I was just gonna say, well, since you're about to end the show anyway, I may as well stay until the end.
Okay. Steven, you want to do your
Yes.
thing?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be on PJ Maybes doing Let's Talk Geeky as usual. That's noon Pacific and 8 p.m. in the UK.
Fantastic.
And then shortly after that, I'll be visiting Jacob Ironside. He's doing a chat on The Twilight Zone.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be probably late evening. Yeah, it says 5 p.m. in the Pacific. So that's going to be late evening, early night on the East Coast, U.S.
Okay. Cousin of mine, would you like to push? And would you also like to talk about that pinned comment?
Oh, yes. Since Oklahoma really does not have much for, they have Halloween stuff to do when you're like 21 and over, or for like little kids, but not a lot in between. So some of the teenagers in the family, I want to like take them to like a couple of fun places, but they kind of cost some money, unfortunately. So kind of hoping, take them to like something called the Festival of Freaks, I think, and then like some other little accoutrement with that, so they don't lose their Halloween spirit.
Yeah, Myra's a good mommy.
Well, I don't know. It's also my sister's teenager, sort of adopted sister. So there's like 15, 16. One's almost 18, so we got a 17-year-old, and I think there's a 13-year-old. So yeah.
Isn't your kid going?
That's the 15-year-old.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear saying it. Okay. But would you like to show your channel?
Oh, there's not much to shill, really. But I kind of stream whenever. It's not all that exciting, really. Like, kind of...
Yeah.
kind of blown out.
Speaking
But-
about Myra, our friend who's not on the channel because she's not into horror, the pizza fanatic herself, Raquel, has two channels. One is live later, Raquel SSG 2241. She's doing a hangout stream, like open lines and things like that. You just go in, hang out, be awesome. Then the second one is a gaming channel, Raquel SSG 2241 Gaming. Go check her out. She is horrendously undersubscribed. She's trying to get going good. She does PS4 streams and things like that. She did Elder Scrolls Online. She did Hercule Poirot. At the moment, it's called Agatha Christie, but it's actually Hercule Poirot's. And so yeah, and eventually from January she's going. Here you go. Here's all of her gaming links and all of her links, and she's going to be joining me with a couple of other people from January. And Myra here is going to be, in case we can't see the chat, she's actually going to be reading the chat, aren't you, Myra?
Yes, and if you had let me finish shilling, I was going to
Sorry.
mention that she's going to live stream, and I'm going to be on there tonight, hanging out.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I'll be
Okay.
there as well.
Folks, I found my comb. It was underneath my laptop.
Your legs have been saved.
Yay!
Yeah, because my father, despite being in his late 60s, ladies and gentlemen, can still knock the teeth out of people. So, yeah. So long as I hold them first. So long as I
Bubba, anyone you want to show?
Bubba?
You know, folks, I think we should chill Moira and what she's doing. I think you guys are doing great
Yeah.
over.
So,
over
guys, Bubba usually says just go and check out his Twitter. Geek Hero Bubba's on Twitter.
Yeah, sorry, my signal has been terrible. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for having me on. Happy Halloween,
Always,
everybody.
bud.
Cheers.
Ryan, you want to chill and do your thing?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this live stream. I hope you've enjoyed what Potato and all the panelists, including myself, have had to offer in regards to Halloween. If you have not already, please like, share, and subscribe to Potato Revan. Suggestions for topics are always welcome in the comments section down below, and I'm sure Potato needs all the ideas he can get to make videos and live streams. So thank you very much for having me, Potato.
Always.
Check me out at Ryan Roger Athe on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and even on Twitch, but I barely use it. But
sure. Hey, Janet, I'll send you that link. This guy has the same hat. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so for the foreseeable future, Mondays are going to be my Spider-Man days. I've got 4 parts recorded out of a 7-part series because it's only like 7.5 hours long. Then I've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which will be 76 parts because it's a 76-hour long game. So and that's going to be on Friday. Once these are all PS5. When Spider-Man is done, then I'll be doing Final Fantasy, I believe. Now, then we will be doing simulcasts coming from January of different games. Doing simulcasts with my channel, with Raquel's channel, with Myra here as our chat. Well, Myra here as our reader, because me and Raquel might not be able to see the thing, because I'm quite a bit away from my TV. And so Myra's going to be reading it out. She's going to be the awesome house cat, as we've decided to call her.
Wait, I'm going to be reading something?
No, the chats.
Oh, the chat. Okay, sorry. I was afraid I was going to have to do this public reading. I'm like, please no.
And then from February, me, Dalek, Moira, Mary's Game Room, and if I can wrangle in a few other people, we'll all be doing Harry Potter streams where we'll be streaming the Harry Potter game, talking about Harry Potter lore, and shooting the shit and just mocking each other. Because that's what we do here. So everyone, I'd like to thank everyone for coming, everyone for watching. I'd like to thank Farvitian Guard. Go and check out Farvitian Guard's channel. He's fantastic. He's horrifically undersubbed as well. He just recently broke 100. Go on, Farv. Yeah, he does retro gaming on his channel. Go check out John DeMarco. Good old John right there. He does Gemnerdy on his channel. I believe Saturday he might be doing it. John, if you want to put your days and that in, then go and check out Continuum Treks with Question the Trek with our amazing panelist, Professor Brainy Specs. He does a Star Trek quiz night, if you would, with loads of questions where he designs the board. Then, so yeah, that is effectively everyone who I want to chill out. Hold on, I'm just thinking, is there anyone else?
Has Stephen Ransom shilled himself?
Yeah.
I have. Thank you for asking, Ryan. You are such a gentleman, I swear. You know,
You're
your
all
father should
welcome
be
on
proud.
reality based. Hopefully we can schedule it when the show is over.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to just wrap this up. Raquel, get your pizza and get your butt in here. Okay, so everyone, thank you all for coming. Have a fantastic night. Happy Halloween. God bless. Sunday night Iha Sarah. And everyone, remember, punch your local Daleks.